everybody, my name is Mars, you can call me MG if you would like, and today I have another tag video for you, and this is the reader profile tag. I found this over on Maeve's channel, and I will leave that linked down below. She didn't tag me, but I'm going to do it anyway, and just answer these questions. I'll also leave the original tag in the description for you to check out, so definitely do that once you're done here. There are 10 questions, so let's just get right into it. The first question is, what for you makes a good book? And obviously there are a lot of factors that go into making a book good, but to me personally, the most important thing is the character work. I can forgive like a weak plot or pacing issues if the characters are really well written. I cannot forgive poorly written characters no matter how good the plot is, no matter how amazing the world building is. I need the characters to be well executed, or else I'm just not going to enjoy a book. Question 2 is what book are you currently reading? And I have recently started Into the Bright Unknown by Ray Carson. This is the third book in the Gold Seer trilogy. The first two books I absolutely loved. I gave them both a 10 out of 10, so I'm super excited to be reading this. I'm only about a third of the way into it, but I'm already obsessed with it and in love with it as much as I was the first two, so I'm just having a great time. Question 3 is, what is the last book you didn't finish and why didn't you finish it? And the last book that I DNF'd was The House of the Spirits because it was well written, it was very interesting. I just knew that it was not a book for me, and clocking in at over 600 pages, I could not continue to read that book because I would have enjoyed it for what it was, but it wouldn't have been something that I loved, and I didn't want 600 pages of that, you know? So I decided to put that one down, and maybe in the future I'll return to it if I, experience some changes in my reading taste, which is bound to happen, but for now it's a DNF. The fourth question is, what obscure book do you wish other people would read? And I'm gonna go with Hawksong by Amelia Atwater Rhodes. I'm not sure how obscure this is, but I've only met like one or two other people who have read this book, so I'm considering it obscure. This is the fantasy romance enemies to lovers book of all time. Like, genuinely, I'm obsessed with it. This and the sequel Snake Charm. There are a couple of other books later on in the series, but they follow other characters, but our main couple is just in these first two. Well, they're in the other ones, but they're like the people we follow in the first two. And it follows Danica, who is an avian shapeshifter, and it follows Zane, who is a serpent shapeshifter. He turns into a cobra, and their people have been at war for so long that no one even knows why they're at war anymore, and they get married in order to end this war and promote peace between their people. It's just so good. I'm obsessed with it. I cannot recommend this highly enough. Question 5 is, what is the longest book you've ever read? And I'm going to show you what technically is the longest because it's one bound up book, and that is The Great Book of Amber by Roger Zelazny. Pretty chunky. This clocks in at 1,258 pages, and yes, I did read this whole thing in one go. Like, obviously I didn't read it in one sitting, but I just like read the whole thing through. But this is technically 10 novellas in one bind-up. It's the 10 books in the Chronicles of Amber series, and for that reason, I will also show you The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, because this is the longest, like, single solid book that I've read that's not, like, a bind-up. This one comes in at, if we ignore the bonus material in the back, 724 pages, so very chunky in its own right, although it's quite compact in this nice little format. I don't know why, but I really love the mass market paperbacks for Brandon Sanderson, so that's how I collect them, but yeah, pretty thick book, even though it's a very small package. Question 6 is, if you could go to a dinner party with 5 fictional characters, who would they be and why? And I am going to make this easy on myself and go with 5 characters from the same series, and those characters are Will, Halt, Alice, Horace, and Evelyn from Ranger's Apprentice. I'm holding up book 2 in the series because this is the first book where all 5 of those characters appear, and also I don't have the dust jacket for book 1, so you would just be looking at a blank hardcover, and that's boring. Also, this is my favorite book in the series. So yeah, I don't think I need to explain myself on this one. If you've been around my channel for any amount of time, you know what this series means to me and how precious it is to me. So these characters have been with me for a very long time. I think I was like 12 the first time I read this series, and I'm now 26, so they've been with me for more than half my life, and I just would love to be able to meet them in person were that possible. Question 7 is to pick 5 books to bring with you if you were going to be stuck on a deserted island. And so, obviously, my first book is going to be The Bone Houses, my favorite book of all time. I could read this like pretty much once a month and not get tired of it because I just love it so, so, so much. So, an obvious first choice. Then I would go with this massive collection. It's called A Treasury of Best Loved Fairy Tales, and it is thick. So I think I would be able to, take my time with this one, depending on how long I'm stranded on this deserted island. I could still occupy my time. And then I just went with 3 books off of my physical TBR that I'm the most anticipating right now. First up, we have The Magicians by Lev Grossman. Then we have The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. And finally, we have Babel by R.F. Kuang. These are just the books that are speaking the most to me right now for my physical TBR, so I would want to bring them and hopefully enjoy them. The 8th question is to pick a book that you could not put down. And for that, I'm going to go with The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. We have another nice little mass market paperback. I read this a few months ago in September and was absolutely obsessed with it. The magic, the Western vibes, the character work, everything about it was so well done. The writing style, oh my god, I love Brandon Sanderson's writing style. I genuinely could not put this down. And it's not a small book. It's almost 400 pages, so like it's a little bit getting to being chunky, but I just zoomed through this because I was so into it. I loved it so much, and I cannot wait to continue on with the rest of the books in the series. Question 9 is 5 books or authors that you will never read, and I did a video about this exact topic probably a couple of years ago at this point. I don't remember exactly when, but I will leave a link in the description for you to check out because I don't want to rehash something I've already done before, so you can just watch that other video and know my reasoning behind why I wouldn't read those books or authors. And the 10th and final question is, if you were to write a book, what would it be about? And luckily, I am an author. I have written many books. So we have the books I've published, Revelry in the Dark, Jenny Was a Friend of Mine, and Exquisite Corpse. I also have a short story called Harbinger published, and the links to buy these books are down in the description if you are interested. They're in the description of all of my videos, but these are dark academia mystery books. Harbinger is a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher. I have a million other projects that I'm working on, though. I write in just about every genre that I can imagine. Maybe not every genre, but I have my fingers in a lot of pies, you know? So just stick around if you're interested in hearing more about these books and also other projects that I have going, because I talk about my writing quite a lot on this channel. And with that, we have come to the end of this tag video. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone!